Sexual Magic, Transforming Matter Mind into Christ Mind by V. M. Samiloun Weir. It is impossible to be able to Christify the mind while we are fornicating. You have to practice sexual magic intensely to transform the mind. Through sexual magic, we fill our minds with transformative atoms of extremely high voltage. Every flame needs fuel to burn. The sacred flame of our candlestick also has its fuel. That fuel is our golden oil. It is our Christenic semen. The man who wastes that sacred oil cannot light its candlestick. And the angel who spoke with me returned and woke me up like a man who is awakened from his sleep. And he said to me, "What do you see?" And above it 2 olives, one to the right of the glass, and the other to the left of it. Zechariah 4:1-3. I spoke more and said to him, "What do these 2 olive trees mean on the right of the lampstand and on the left of it?" I spoke again and said to him, "What do the 2 branches of olives mean, which through 2 tubes of gold pour out oil like gold?" And he answered me, saying, "Don't you know what this is?" And I said, "My Lord, no." And he said, "These 2 sons of oil are those who stand before the dream of the whole earth." Zechariah 4:11-14. These 2 sons of oil, who are before the God of the earth, are our 2 ganglionic cords that coil in our spinal cord, and through which we must raise our seminal energy to the brain. This is how our mind becomes Christified. It is impossible to Christify the mind without fire. Now we will understand why the word Einari was placed over the head of the crucified man. This word means Ignis Natura Renovator Integram. Fire incessantly renews nature. Descartes' concept, "I think, therefore I am," is completely false, because the true man is the innermost, and the innermost does not think, because he knows. It is the mind who thinks, not the innermost. The human mind in its current state of involution is the animal that we bring to it inside. The innermost does not need to think, because he is omniscient, knowing all things. The intimate has no problems. The problems are of the mind. The true man is the intimate one. The innermost must whip the mind with the terrible whip of the will. The man who identifies himself with the mind falls into the abyss. Of the man who identifies himself with the mind, because he loses the intimate and ends up in the abyss. We must not forget that the most subtle and dangerous demons that exist in the universe reside on the mental plane. There is a need for the most perfect chastity to be able to Christify the mental body. The lair of desire is in the mind. The V. M. Samiloun Weir, about the mind, says very clearly, "The mind is closely related to sexuality, and it is impossible to study the mind without studying the sexual problem." There are countless students of occultism dedicated to yoga, but since these poor beings fornicate incessantly, they achieve nothing, and they waste their time, unfortunately. It is impossible to separate the mind from sexuality. Mind and sex are intimately related, and if our disciples want to convert mind matter into mind Christ, they must fill their chalice, brain, with the sacred wine, semen, of light.